Alright, I'm back for another Reddit Cake Day INFJ subreddit video. And today, right now we're going to look at a post by Moonchild1001. And Moonchild asks, isolated by your own thoughts? So I'm going to read this. Is your mind made out of the prison wall or out of a sanctuary? Have you ever felt you're in your own world all the time? Isolated by your own thoughts? Despite having good friends around, they seem to not know you. I met my closest friends yesterday. We've been friends for almost 15 years. We talk a lot about random things, mostly about makeup, food, and travel, etc. One of them brought up the topic on my blog. I wrote about the Joker movie and wanted me to explain why would I suddenly write dark stuff and being not me. I explained about my views on the matter, which eventually led them asking me to repent. We're from a religious school when we're 7 to 16 years old. In that blog, I was merely stating what Joker did. Killing his stepmother was justified, and I was satisfied when he killed his stepmother. I meant if it wasn't for her mental disorder, she wouldn't adopt and abuse him, leading to his ongoing torture of having a neurological disorder, which makes people dismissing him later in life. Plus, having his stepmom feeding him her delusional lies about his dad and all triggers a fuse that leads to this chaos and anarchy. She is the very reason Joker was created. I don't think it's dark at all. I wasn't upset about them. If they honestly don't agree to my stance, I'm fine with that. I was more taken aback about them saying it's not like me than presumes that I've changed or tainted and asked me to repent afterwards. Nevertheless, I ended up changing the blog post to private when I'm back home. For 15 years, they don't really know me well, I thought. Have any of you feel this way too? Very interesting. Yeah, I think what is happening here, and I think the reason that this happens to INFJs is we craft everything we're saying to the scenario in which we're in, and which portions of our experiences or intuitions to share. And that may not be representative of everything we've ever been through. In fact, we often can't remember everything we've been through. So this INFJ has known these two people for 15 years. They thought they knew him or her, and what they knew was the pieces of the person that we'll just say he for sake of whatever. We'll say she. Moonchild. It could be a she. Moonchild probably shared different pieces of her worldview or perspective or thoughts, but her friends may not have connected all the dots together to understand how that all fits together. And the other thing is, Moonchild's point of view is probably also evolving constantly all the way through the past 15 years. So suddenly she writes this blog post about Joker. She sees it justified. Spoiler, obviously we're past that point. It's not really a big spoilery kind of thing in the movie, but Joker, kills his own mother in the movie. This person is saying, well, it was justified because she was horribly abusive and manipulative and kind of created this monster. I'm not going to say whether I agree with that or not. I'd say that would probably be a whole other video for me to share my thoughts on that. But what I will say as far as the interactions that Moonchild has had with her friends, and she does talk about makeup, so yeah, it's obviously a she. But it just now dawned on me. So I think the other thing is, with it being a religious kind of scenario, when I was in religious system for 30 years or so. I'm 38 now, so you can think about it. I just got out 8 years ago, and you tend to be very familiar and very comfortable with cognitive biases and seeing the world through the lens that you've created or that others have created for you, and really just discarding all other information. And that's a very common way for INFJs to think because of their introverted thinking, which is very about kind of cherry picking information based on whether it fits into your logical framework or not. I guess all of that to say, it's not surprising that this happened, and Moonchild, I think as you get older, you'll make friends that more closely align to who you really are and what your beliefs are and what your outlook on the world is and things like that. And they won't be surprised by your points of view. So I think I'll park it there. I don't think I'll address whether or not... I will say I don't know that I agree with your perspective that you posted on the blog post, but I can see why you believe that, probably out of a sense of justice. Interesting post. I hope some of the things I've said have been useful to you. It doesn't really seem like you've asked a question. You've asked how have any of you feel this way too. I would say I definitely have experienced this as well. And I think when people can act surprised, or not, they're not acting. People can be genuinely surprised by an INFJ suddenly saying or doing something that they think is uncharacteristic of that person. And it's not. It's just you, the person observing the INFJ, did not understand necessarily all of the intuitive things that are going on inside their brain, and you got to see a portion of them that was true but only representative of some information. Now you're getting access to other information, so you're kind of learning more about the INFJ. So I hope that was useful to you, and I will see you in the next video.